look at this treasure. I spy some vintage.
Hey guys, this is Katie with Vintage and Vinyl, back with another great video for you today. And in this video, we are going in Goodwill. Now, I have sworn off Goodwill every time I go, but there's just something that pulls me back in because I think, well, maybe I'll find something this time. So we are at the Goodwill at Jacksonville Beach, which is not my normal Goodwill, and we are going to see what treasures await us inside. So let's go, folks.
Now, right off the bat, when you walk into Goodwill, you find the infamous clear glass aisle. The aisle where all clear glass goes to die or gets damaged. And that's a shame because, folks, we need to bring back the clear glass. And you can find some really good deals and quality pieces in the clear glass aisle at Goodwill. Now, unfortunately, a lot of this clear glass, though, was not vintage, so it wasn't something I was looking to pick up for a sale. Now, these ramekins are nice, and they're something I grew up with, very practical and great for the kitchen, but again, not something I want to sell in a live sale here on YouTube. Not sure that's what our audience is really looking for. However, if you wanted to do some crafts or any type of cooking, these clear glass bowls with the grapes are really nice, but again, not really a popular pattern right now. And all of these wine glasses, there's just tons of them. I didn't look at this glass because it has a really nice silver rim, and I just couldn't find any others, so I left it behind. Lots and lots of clear glass here, folks, just piled to the hill. Now, there is some Dollar Tree glass, though, here, and again, that's not something that I'm really looking to pick up. Now, this end cap had a lot of true vintage clear glass, like these Hazel Atlas or Anchor Hocking snack sets. I love these, but they don't do well in the live sales, and they're kind of a pain to ship, and this set was missing the glasses, so I did leave it. Now, here's a Wexford Plate by Anchor Hocking. Love that design, but not something that sells very well. And then check out the beautiful wheel cut design on this little creamer. Had some damage, so I didn't pick it up, but I maybe should have rescued it. Let me know in the comments down below. And this is a beautiful piece of clear glass, but a lot of damage on that gold there. This is Federal Madrid. It is an open sugar, and it is missing its mate, so unfortunately I had to leave it behind. Not quite sure what that is. Couldn't be an eyewash cup, but maybe a votive holder? I don't know. Very interesting. And then tons of these singular clear glass candlesticks. Beautiful etch there. Almost picked that up, but it was just by itself, and I didn't have a place to put it, so I left it behind. Unfortunately, clear glass just doesn't do well in the sales, so I don't often pick it up for a live sale. I only pick it up if I'm going to keep it myself. And this is a beautiful lead crystal vase, but it's rather large, and I live in a pretty small apartment. And what's up with the butter dish without its bottom? That seemed to be the story of the day. All of these random pieces of clear glass. Oh man, what a shame. Now, we are kicking things off with a bang in this aisle with a little bit of uranium, but it's not the kind of uranium that we're all looking for. That's a more modern shot glass, and I think someone's whole collection must have been donated because there were every type of bar and restaurant you could imagine listed on hundreds of shot glasses in this aisle. Now, this is the kind of aisle that you really got to dig through because, yes, at first glance, there's a lot of cheap, modern clear glass, but amongst all of that clear glass that's more modern, well, look, here's a vintage souvenir mug. Now, this had some dishwasher damage, so I didn't leave it behind. Those souvenir mugs aren't as popular if people have not been to that particular place themselves, so they're a tougher sell in the sales. But again, just goes to show you there might be a treasure or two mixed in amongst all the modern glass, so it really does help to get on the level of each shelf, bend down, and really study each piece carefully. Now, I almost got this set of glasses, and watching this video, I kind of regret not picking them up. I don't know that these are truly vintage, but they're beautiful, and I should have gotten them because I've been looking for a set like this myself. Unfortunately, there were only 3 of them, and that is the reason I did end up leaving them behind. Now, there's tons of coffee mugs, and this is another case where, you know, yeah, there's the Wicked mug from probably Broadway, or some of these more modern mugs that you get as a little gift, probably from your office or whatnot. But there could be some vintage ones mixed in, and mugs do really well on eBay if you are an eBay seller and you really take the time to look them up and check out all the different brands, designs, and patterns. And this is one of those aisles you could spend a lot of time in. Now, I did go through these as best I can. I didn't pick up any because at first glance I didn't see any milk glass mugs, which are the ones I'm particularly looking for my own collection. I love a good Anchor Hocking milk glass mug. Just can't go wrong with that. Now, this candlestick felt a little bit too light to be brass, so I did leave it, and I don't know what that thing was. Very weird. I think they just grouped all the green stuff together on this end cap because I don't know, still scratching my head. This was a very nice set of Royal Norfolk, and that is a nice brand. However, it is going to be a pain to ship. It is a larger set, and it's just not something that I feel is worth my time, and not something that I think my live sale customers are really looking for. This had some damage on the lid, and so I left it. Now, if you're local, this is a nice set to pick up for yourself. If you're interested in these colors, very Florida, but not my thing. Oh, I really wasn't sure what this was. I think it's some sort of a vase. I would like to say that it's hobbyist, although it could be more expensive than I'm giving it credit for. But, yeah, not sure I'm going to pick that up. And what is with all these Dollar Tree pieces? I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to the Dollar Tree, but come on, Goodwill, there's tons of them. And then this piece, made in China. Now, I don't know what this was for. I'm assuming it was to store pasta or something on your kitchen countertop. It is a pretty glaze if you're into that green color, but not something, again, that's worth my time because it's not vintage and it would be a pain to ship. Now, look at this treasure. I spy some vintage. I was so excited about this little Owens, Illinois decanter that I picked it up, and I knew right away that this was something different. And so, of course, I grabbed it and held on to it the entire time, didn't set it down because I was afraid it would get snapped up. Purple, anyone? Unicorn, anyone? Well, this aisle could fulfill your unicorn and purple dreams. However, they wouldn't be vintage. I always think of Tiger over at Tiger's Timeless Treasures with these purple pieces, as he would say, but they're not vintage and they're probably from Dollar Tree, so not something I'm going to pick up for him. I always tell something's more modern when it has a barcode because barcodes did not come out until 1973. Oh, I just was so disgusted picking up this thing. What is it? It's so dirty. Ack. And then look at this. Now, this is hand-blown. It's got the pontil mark on the bottom, but it's not smoothed out, so I don't think it's particularly well made. And, well, check out this vase. Another Dollar Tree piece. Get nothing wrong with that if that's your style or your jam, but not something I'm looking for sales, and definitely not here to pick up some notebooks. Well, you know you're in Florida when you start seeing palm trees at the Goodwill. We got lots of them here. Oh, and ducks, apparently. Everybody needs a duck humidifier. And what is this fish vase? Well, actually, I think it's a lipstick holder, but it's got some damage, so it's not coming home. And these things I see quite a bit at craft fairs, not particularly vintage. Whoa, okay, we are moving from the fish to Halloween, so fall to summer. Not a very good combination here, Goodwill. And a hedgehog, well, he's kind of cute, but again, more modern. I don't know what is going on here. Like, did they just decide, like, all yellow things are going on this shelf, or things of similar color? Because their theme isn't really making sense to me. And I did see that bowl, probably vintage, but it would have been a pain to ship, so I left it behind. Now, this is something that might hold value for those of you that do eBay reselling. I sell more vintage and antique, so I don't look for modern things, but some modern things, depending on whether or not they're discontinued, can hold some significant value. Now, I know you can find a lot of good and practical things at Goodwill, but half-used nail polish is not one of them, in my opinion. They had a sale on all of these bathroom products, and some of them had been used before, which I found a little bit gross for my taste. Not trying to judge anybody or say anything nasty, but it just made me feel like I needed to wash my hands a bit. And there was some really nice glass there, but clear glass just doesn't sell. We gotta bring back the clear glass, folks, because it is so lovely. And they did have a really nice set of Royal Doulton china, and all of it appeared to be in great condition. But if I were to pick this up, I'd have to list it out on eBay, and all of that listing would be very time consuming since there are so many pieces to this set, and shipping it, just a pain. Wow, this is the most DVDs I've ever seen in one place at one time. Now, I did look through these because I actually have a small collection of DVDs. I enjoy picking up movies like this for a rainy day, and I didn't see any that I didn't already own or really had to have. There was a lot of discs with some damage on them, so they wouldn't have played particularly well. But if you're a general eBay reseller, do look out for this area because there are quite a lot of box sets I hear that do really well online. All right, who wants to play the random technology game? Let's see what outdated piece of technology we can find on this shelf. All right, well, first up, we've got a faster dual transfer ancient computer cord and a whole bunch of computer keyboards and a scale. And I spy a little spa hose, whatever that is, and a whole bunch of hair curlers. Golly, those hair curlers used to make my head hurt. I never liked them. And, well, I don't know what this is. Let's see, a wreath and a shredder box. And we've got some very interesting clocks. Oh my gosh, iHome. Who remembers that? That seems like forever ago. And all kinds of flashlights and keyboards and random doodads, light bulbs. Man, there is a whole bunch of random technology. Well, now we get to the lamp, so a little bit more normal, but not sure that I'm in the market for a football lamp, although somebody might be really excited to find that. Lots of old CD players and just random things here. Golly, that printer looks ancient. Holy cow, this was such an interesting aisle, and I always look here for old record and audio equipment, but not sure I found anything worth picking up today. I spy with my little eye a snowman, an uncorked wine glass, and a Santa with a little teddy bear coming out of his pack. These guys all have one thing in common, and that is that they're not particularly vintage. That seems to be the case here with a lot of vintage Christmas. I just don't find the true vintage stuff that a lot of my fellow friends do in the community. So I'm always lucky at live sales when people sell vintage Christmas because I can add some of it to my collection that way. Now, a lot of pieces here seem kind of random and hodgepodgey, and I've never figured out how Goodwill really decides what goes on their shelves or not. I do think that a lot of stuff does get damaged while it's on the shelf because you can see how crowded it is here. It is easy to knock something over. This girl, she's missing like half of the bottom of her, and I'm not even sure what she would have gone on if she was a tree topper or if she was just a pretty figurine, but she is damaged. And that seems to be the case with a lot of these things here. So I'm not sure exactly how Goodwill decides what goes on the shelves and what doesn't, or what actually gets damaged, because this piece was missing its bottom, so it must have gotten separated while it was in the middle of all of this chaotic Christmas. Now, most collector's plates are not particularly collectible anymore. They were mass marketed, and I think people are kind of over that look. However, things do come back around, and maybe one day they'll be popular again. I did look at this one closely because it had its original paperwork, but at the end of the day, decided to leave it behind. Now, there's a more modern glass stein here and a beautiful espresso set, but that had a barcode, so I knew it was newer. And guys, that really is one of my big deciding factors on whether or not I'm going to pick something up, is if it is modern, because I know my audience, and that's one of the things that if you're going to do live sales, you really have to know what your audience is looking for and what sells and what is on trend, because if you pick something up that's more modern, it's probably not going to do particularly well because our audience loves the vintage and antiques. That's just my personal experience and what I've found. The other thing that I look for is damage. If it has any damage, I will leave it behind unless it is special, something that you're not going to come across again, or the damage is so little that it really doesn't affect the value of the piece, then I might pick it up. But those are kind of my deciding factors when I'm shopping for vintage. And it's just something you gotta acquire an eye for. You know, the more you're out looking at vintage and the more you see things, you'll be able to spot something that's modern from a mile away. Now, this salad spinner I thought was so interesting, and I thought about one of the TikTok accounts I follow that tries some of these old appliances, and I thought, you know, that might make a funny video, but I think it was missing pieces. And here's a vintage baby planter. Now, I did look at this. I don't find them selling particularly well on my sales, so even though it was vintage and it seemed to be in good condition, I didn't pick it up. Now, I wanted to show you this shelf to show you the odd assortment of items we get here at Goodwill. Now, a lot of people across the country get lucky at their Goodwills because I think a lot of their older population donates things when they get ready to move and retire to Florida, so they can find good things, but our Goodwills rarely ever have anything great. And here's a good example. That's a piece of a teapot that's missing the whole entire rest of the teapot, and there is a broken piece of a plate here on the shelves. Now, I don't think Goodwill put that out like that. I really do believe it happened on the shelves because look how crowded these shelves are. There's no way that you couldn't pick something up without accidentally breaking it. It's just kind of impossible. And that's the kind of stuff that we do see here on our shelves at Goodwill. And whenever I find things separated, if I can find the original piece, I do try to put it back together so that they can stay as a family. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen here. And there's just an odd assortment of things at our Goodwills at any one of them in town. This is the beach one. I thought I'd try it out to do something a little bit different, and well, it just was the same as the one near me. Lots of China stuff, lots of broken stuff, and lots of random things that have damage. Spring is in the air, and I did spot this butterfly and thought of Dear Angela's Vintage. However, this was a pretty heavy ceramic hobbyist piece, and it would have cost a small fortune to ship, so I left it for somebody to pick it up locally. A lot of more modern clear glass. I just hate to see all this clear glass die. This was a piece I think that was made in Indonesia, but I didn't pick it up because it's got wedding bells on it, which I don't think is particularly popular. This was a beautiful pottery bowl, definitely vintage, but man, it had some damage to it, and I did end up leaving it behind. I'm not really sure what all that blue painter's tape was on there for. I think originally it might have had something down inside as like a chip and dip set. And check out all of this glass here. Very interesting to look at, but not something particularly perfect for me, so I did leave it behind. Thought those might be chalkware, but nope, they were not. Definitely more modern. And always look at the trays just to see if there's any Chromax, but alas, no Chromax for me this go-round. Just more collector's plates.
Well, the Goodwill, not so good. But you know what? I did find one vintage treasure among all the modern items. So I'm pretty excited about that. I spotted this on the end cap, and it just had that look to me. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. And sure enough, when I flipped it over, it was made by a glass manufacturer I recognized, Owens, Illinois. So I thought, this has to be something. And I just needed to rescue it from the shelves of the Goodwill. So it came home with me. It is a vintage decanter. Now, I think at one point it probably would have had glasses with it. I don't have the glasses. I didn't see any matching glasses in the Goodwill. I did look. I'm sure at some point they were separated from this bottle. But it's pretty cool. It does have a kind of pirate motif on it. And it has a ladder inside. Yes, a tiny ladder. So just like those bottles that people build ships in, someone has built a tiny ladder inside of it. I don't think it was original to the bottle, but it was just cool, something different, and I had to rescue it. So I picked it up, and I'm going to insert some pictures of it here because it's a little hard to show here in the car, so you can really see the detail when I get home and photograph it and insert it into the video. And if you're interested in this decanter, I will have it available for sale at my live sale with Vintage Vinny. So make sure you guys stop on by this Saturday. I believe that's 6 p.m. Eastern. We will be having a live sale on his channel, and it's going to have lots of cool vintage. So stop by for that. And of course, before my next video, I'll be seeing you over on Instagram at vintage_and_vinyl. And I hope as always that you will stay in, stay safe, and bend you soon. Bye bye, everybody.
web, web. Ooh, web.